Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something clicked.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay. It's I'm doing a treatment the last few days that I haven't felt really great, but I keep trying to put it in perspective because compared to what it's been in the past, it's pretty much nothing. I'm still running every day, and that's really keeping me, kind of keeping me on track, Mm-hmm. Whenever I get these kind of overwhelming fears, that I might still be sick or get sick again or relapse, this kind of thing, and I go running and then I see, oh no, I'm good.
All right.
It's just it's I never imagined it would be like this, but I'm still my mental state is still struggling with that.
Mm-hmm. The fear of getting sick again.
Yes. Yeah, it's that, and the frustration of feeling unable to take on these it's the same old thing. Mm-hmm. These tasks that what's the word? Executive type functioning tasks where I have to go online and fill out applications or follow through on things, or they just even pretty simple ones, like the things I've told you about here at home, doing things at home that are just regular maintenance type things that you do at home every day are, again, they still seem overwhelming. And my therapist told me, it's not going to make sense to you, and it doesn't really have to make sense. So I'm really trying to not figure it out, but that's so hard when you're struggling.
When your therapist says it doesn't have to make sense, they mean
they mean
why it's like this.
Yeah. I keep going around in circles, trying to understand why I feel like I can't move forward and do things, or I don't have the desire to do things. I don't have that will that I feel like is just, they're even neutral things. They're not things that are like, oh my God, this is like gonna, if I don't accomplish this, everything's gonna fall apart. No, they're just really neutral things that feel kind of threatening. And so I'm just kind of finding myself in, I feel like if I could figure it out, that I would feel more okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have moments when I am feeling at peace with myself, and I think, okay, this is just temporary. I keep reminding myself that it's temporary. This is just because I was not in a really good place for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Does that make sense? Have you talked to people like that feel like I don't know if I told you this too. See if this kind of rings a bell. I think I have told you this, that I feel like I was almost use the analogy of coming back from a war. Like not that I've ever been in the military, but this feeling of having been fighting and pushing for something all these years so hard,
mm-hmm.
and putting so much effort and so much, like all my full, every ounce of energy that I had. And now that I'm kind of like, oh, I'm okay now. Now, you know how when soldiers come back from battle, that shell-shocked feeling
mm-hmm.
that they talk about, when they come back and they just feel like, wow, like I don't know what to do with myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't, it's like that. It's like I look around and I'm fine and everything's fine. There's no threat around me, but I just feel like something is not okay. Like that.
Yeah.
Like it's just sort of like going 100 miles an hour and then just stopping.
Yeah. And now something I'm okay. About that feels threatening.
Yeah. Now I'm okay. And, but now I feel like kind of frozen in time in this, this present moment, just frozen here, like not really knowing what to do.
Okay.
So
you mentioned, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that you mentioned, if you could figure it out, then you feel like you would be okay. And I'm curious if the part of you that wants to figure it out and to feel okay, if the answer is in something that we could discover through IFS, if the answer is to do with your relationship with parts, does the figured out part, is it satisfied by that? Or does it say, well, that can't be, or that doesn't tell the whole story?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm wondering if that figured out part is keeping parts work from being an option, or a path to figuring it out.
Say that again.
I'm wondering if the figuring out part,
mm-hmm.
the part that wants to figure it out,
mm-hmm.
sees parts work, sees what we're doing here as not a viable solution. And so it might never be satisfied with parts work. Just a hypothesis or something I would like to know about that part.
Are you asking like for something for me to look at?
It would be a question for a part. Yeah. Because, okay, so like if we keep doing parts work, then I'm going to keep suggesting like, let's look at parts. This sounds like parts. And because in my mind, that's kind of all I'm doing here. And so that's going to be the only type of solution that I'm helping us uncover.
Yeah.
And so I'm just wondering if if the part that wants to have it all figured out is okay with that.
Got it.
Or if it's skeptical about that.
I don't even know how to answer that.
Well, you would check with the part that wants to figure it out. Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. Because it comes in waves. Mm-hmm. Like it's been like this. Like I have this sense that it's so simple that I'm just on the edge of breaking through something. There's like something on the other side. I have that sense that, and I recently I haven't been addressing that taskmaster part. Mm-hmm. And that's the one right now that I feel up against, because for example, this place is hiring me to do substitute teaching. Mm-hmm. And I'm just, ever since that, feel overwhelmed around getting I have to get my transcripts, and they need a resume on file. I have to do that. And they need, like, I have to get fingerprinted. It's just like these kinds of things. Like I can get the job and like I could literally go in the classroom, but so now that's eating at me. And so all of these little things I'm up against. And it's just like, there's this barrier there. It's the same thing. It's the same thing I've been dealing with. Aren't you tired of hearing about this?
No, I'm curious.
Okay. Because I am.
But I'm curious. I'm curious about it. I'm curious about the parts. We'll see. Okay, so I'm curious about the parts. The story, I don't think is necessary for me to know, and the details of the story of the little things that you're dealing with, I'm not particularly curious about, other than how parts are seeing them and your interaction with parts.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but I come to, like, I get, yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. What do you think?
So you've named a few parts, right? So you've named the taskmaster.
Yep.
I've named a part that I'm calling figure it out part, the one that wants to,
the analytical part. Yep.
That's so close to this answer, that's so simple, but it can't figure it out.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to suddenly have this divine enlightenment and inspiration. Be like, oh, that's all it was. And then I'm just going to be like, okay, my life's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. And does that part see that as a piece of information you're missing, or does it see it as, again? Yeah,
kind of like yes, kind of like a piece of information or a state of mind that I haven't reached, and that I'm going to hear something. Or, something's going to come while I'm meditating, and I'll say, oh, that's what okay.
All right. That would be nice.
Now I'm free.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that there's some truth in that, in this approach, which is that through the meditation and through the working with parts, you can have those revelations and that freedom. I believe.
I agree. I agree.
But it's also not, oh, now I get it. The end. It's a process of building relationships.
Right.
So the aha moment is, oh, I can build relationships. Then you still have the months and years and lifetime of actually building and maintaining those relationships.
Right. I get that. That. It's sort of like, I've come far already. I really have come far. I mean, all I can see though is what's all I can see are the challenges in front of me. And I I do quite regularly. I come to a piece where I think, wow, I have done, I have come so far, and I'm really doing a lot, but then at the same time, I'm like, I'm not doing anything because I feel so a lot of the time, so unfulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might be another part. That might be another part that has a yearning or feels like it's missing something. It's missing some connection or some.
Yeah, I think there's some kind of like surrender involved that I haven't been able to reach. You know how sometimes with these parts, you eventually kind of, I don't know if the word is surrender, or you just say, oh, okay. You have that compassion and you can just let go. You have that compassion. You can just let go and be like, okay, it's fine. There's nothing wrong. There's like nothing even literally, really, there's nothing even wrong.
Well, if there are parts that are saying there's something wrong, and there are parts that are even maybe saying there's something wrong with me, there's something wrong with my life, then there's something wrong, right? Those parts are unhappy.
Yeah. But I mean, there's like inherently my situation. I'm safe. I'm eating. I'm running. I'm healthy. I would say quite healthy, and you know what I mean in that sense. You know what I mean?
Right. That's why I'm only interested in your internal family system.
Yeah.
That's the only place that I'm suggesting that we look, because I think that so many people, myself included, they have a decent life on paper. On the outside, there's I'm safe, I'm fed, and when the depression or the anxiety or the longing or the feeling of worthlessness comes up or anything like that, that can be regardless of your external circumstances. And so that's why I find this work so powerful, is because it's going to those parts and understanding them, and not simply accepting them as, okay, well, this is just how I am. There is an acceptance. There is an acceptance of, okay, I have parts, they do get triggered by this and that, but it's pretty proactive in saying they're going to get triggered and I'm going to be there for them every time. And I'm going to continue learning how to negotiate with them and lead them. Yeah. Which is a daily practice.
Yes. Yes, which I'm so glad that we're doing this call, because now it's going to get me. I was doing it every day. I was doing I was using some of the recordings even from the book that I have on audio that was, would really helpful.
Yeah.
And I would many times, I just forget. I have sometimes,
Okay.
So what I have this sense that, what I've gotten doing this with you is I get to that point where I think like, I do see finally that like these parts do calm down at certain points. And then I think, and then I'm kind of have that feeling of just being okay. And actually my situation, I'm healthy. It's all, a lot of it's about my health, obviously, that, I was in like I can't even believe I'm still at the point where sometimes I'm just laying there and I'm like, wow, I don't have pain in my body. It's so bizarre to not feel pain and not be like worried. Like usually, with Lyme, I had some issue. Oh, my body, or I have brain fog, fatigue. Like there's not having those issues has literally made me kind of crazy, because now I have nothing. It's like I have nothing to focus on or something.
Right.
It's like it's like the nervous system needs something to put my focus on, my concentration on. And I was so hypervigilant, and now I don't need to be, and it still is.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that would be another place we could look, is just what is that pain, that fear, when there isn't so much to do, what is that feeling?
Yeah, that would be a good place to look, because I have that. I was just thinking this week, or maybe in the last 4 days, it came to me a few times, like, wow, growing up, I was always busy, and got that from my mom, who modeled that it was just sort of like, if you're not doing something, you need to be doing something. You know what I mean? That sense of, that is not, that's like not a healthy way.
And what happens if you're not busy?
Then, your brain finds something to obsess about.
Mm-hmm.
My brain finds something to worry or think about what I'm not doing and I should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Which at this point now, it no longer drives me to do something. It does the opposite. It just makes me feel paralyzed.
Right. Right. So the getting things done part, the taskmaster, has been very valuable in keeping that away.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And does that part feel appreciated by you? Does that taskmaster?
Sometimes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes. When I really go there and I can appreciate that.
Yeah. And would it be okay to look more at, you said when you're not busy, you're obsessing, you're worrying, you're paralyzed. Would it be okay to learn more about that part? Would it be okay to learn more about, ask the taskmaster part, because the taskmaster part has been working really hard to keep that part away.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if it will give you space to learn more about that obsessed, worried, paralyzed part.
Yeah, that's the part that's always, when it doesn't have some kind of goal or some kind of to occupy itself with, then it gets anxious, I guess, would be the word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how do you feel towards that part right now?
I really would like for it to have some peace.
Okay. Can you let it know that?
Yeah.
And I think that if we can stay curious and learn more about it, that would be the best way to figure out how to help it get to a peaceful place.
Okay.
Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Okay. So see if you can let it know that you're curious about it, that you'd like for it to have some peace. And then you could ask it what it wants you to know.
I see this like image of it hopping around and jumping, and it's with this eagerness to do something. It's so funny.
Yeah. What else do you notice about it in that image?
A lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Very high energy. Saying, come on, let's go. Let's do something.
Okay.
Let's get excited.
Yeah. And is it aware of you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because whatever part this is that's looking at it now is just thinking like, like wants to engage, but it's like, oh boy.
Yeah. Oh boy, what?
Can I handle this? Yeah. Can I handle, like, do I have the energy? Do I have the stamina
to handle all that to handle all that eagerness?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that makes sense, because if this part has a really high energy, and there's another part saying, well, I don't want to get all high energy with this part right now, right?
Right.
Yeah. Good. So the part that's worried about getting high energy, we can let it know that we don't have to do that in order to get to know this part, the eager one. And you can ask the eager part if it will just let it know that you want to get to know it. And you could just ask it if it will settle a little bit so that it can talk with you.
Okay.
You might ask it what it's afraid would happen if it didn't jump around.
It will get bored and bored and unfulfilled, uninspired.
Yeah.
Like it's going to miss out. There's a sense of it. It's going to miss out on something.
Okay.
Like miss out on life itself.
Yeah. And this might sound like a silly question, but what would be so bad about that? What is kind of the pain or the fear behind that idea of missing out on life?
I don't know. It's sort of like not thinks that would cease to exist. Maybe.
Okay.
Or else it's saying that it's like kind of reflecting back the situation of just being at home and sluggish and depressed and with nothing. Yeah, just it. Yeah, I don't know. There's no answer.
Okay, that's fine. And how does it like its job of getting your attention in that way?
It kind of likes it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it also fights with other parts that don't have that energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And how long has it been doing that job for you?
Since I was very, very, very young. It was I don't even know. As long as I can remember.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
A little kid.
Is there something that it recalls having to kind of fight against when you were a little kid? Something that it was concerned about?
There's something about just even being pushed to do a lot of just really being really active and activity, but it's sort of going between, it liked that, but there's pressure involved.
Yeah, pressure from other people to
I think
get everything done.
Pressure from my mom.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Is all this making sense to you?
Yeah.
Great. And how are you being with the part now? Earlier it was kind of jumping around. Has it settled at all? Are you feeling close to it? Is there a proximity that you're noticing between you and this part?
Yeah, it has definitely settled down. And and it's right there next to me.
Great. And so it really doesn't like this idea of being pushed by others.
Yeah, and it's a sense of wanting to do things and not being allowed to. At the same time, so there's just again, it's coming back to following, following guidelines and rules and trying to navigate and please my mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if it didn't do that job, let's just say if you didn't follow the rules or please your mom, what would happen then? What would be the negative feelings around that?
Just loneliness, the sense of being alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not getting enough attention.
Yeah.
Acknowledgement.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Having, being able to engage with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like this part has a very valuable job. I mean, those feelings of being alone must have been so hard.
Yeah, you could say that's like sort of like maybe in an adult version, like a people pleasing part that we do to try to get people's attention or get their approval.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we all do that, and yet it can go too far.
Right.
So that it gets in the way of really knowing what you want. Yeah. And in my case, what I really wanted. So there's like a lack of direction and just wanting attention.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned earlier how these feelings come up when there is nothing to do, when you are just alone, right? And you're having this kind of this same kind of feelings, right? Of the loneliness and what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, the sense of I should definitely be doing something right now that I enjoy, and I'm not.
Right.
And then obsessing about that.
Right. Okay.
All of the thing going over all the things that I'm not doing that need to get done, and that or that I want to do, and like that I'm healthy enough to do, and on and on and on and on and on. Yeah.
So if you could work with the part that still has that loneliness, that still has that same kind of pain that would come up if and when you didn't please your mother, if you could heal that or change that, would this eager part, would it like that? And would it like let's see, what would it rather be doing with its energy if you could do that?
Just exploring and figuring out what it wants to do by itself without it having to matter what anyone else thinks.
Yeah. Okay. And maybe you can spend a minute just kind of envisioning that with it. Like, what does that look like for this part to explore, to be unencumbered by other people's expectations? And just let it kind of feel into that. If it didn't have to worry about the loneliness.
It's no, I just got a block. I was going there and then it was just like, what? It doesn't really know what to do.
Okay. How old does this part think that you are?
Like 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were there some things going on in your life at that age?
It's like kind of coming up as like multiple ages. But yeah, just right. I just have a picture, like it's seeing like my mom being really busy, always, busy during all her activities.
And just how difficult that was for you as a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just a little bit of sense of aloneness, maybe some confusion.
Okay. Well, you can go ahead and update this part with your real age.
Right. It's like a relief.
Yeah. And you can also, it's a relief for this part because you can communicate with it as an adult here, but you can also go to these younger parts that maybe feel stuck back there, maybe still have those feelings of being alone and confused, and you might be able to help them out too.
Yeah.
Try asking this eager part, what else it wants from you going forward.
Yeah, it's really I'm like really hearing it in more of adult language. Of course, it's like space, more space and freedom. Less, more compassion, not being so hard, not being so hard on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And allowing things to just unfold, little by little, not, and being okay with that, just being okay with the process.
Okay. And what do you think about, and you can ask this part too, but what do you think about maybe trying to contact some of those younger parts, see if there is maybe a 6-year-old in there or some part that carries that burden of being alone, being confused?
Yeah, I can see a version of like 6, 8, even 10, 12.
Yeah.
Like this drive to get somewhere, to do something, to do more, to
And how about
go ahead.
How about a part that holds that pain of the loneliness? Can you see that part?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my parents. It's my parents, both of them being really busy and not, just feeling misunderstood, just lack of attention.
Yeah. And do you see how old that part is?
Like 10.
Okay. And how do you feel about shifting and working with that part and meeting it? Great. So you can thank this eager part for everything that it showed you and for all its hard work. And see if you can let that 10-year-old know that you'd like to get to know her. Just see how she responds.
Yeah. She's open.
Mm-hmm.
She's I see at that time I had a broken leg from skiing, and that feeling of not being able to play.
Yeah.
During the summer, because I had a full-length cast on my leg with crutches, and everyone being outside playing, and it was really hard for me to play because I had these crutches.
Yeah. So let that part know that you'd like to know more about how hard that was for her. Tell her you really want to get it. What it was like for her to not be able to play.
Yeah, there was a lot of, at the beginning, a lot of pain when I was in bed, and then unable to go to school for a while. And, and just having this thing on my leg that was itching.
And I imagine that contributed to some lack of attention, some loneliness.
Yeah. Not being able to participate.
And how do you feel as you learn this about her and just as she's showing you this? Are you okay with the way that she's showing you this?
Yeah.
Yeah. See if there's more that she can show you about what it was like for her. Just anything that was hard.
It's funny because when it happened, we were skiing and I was, actually, I hadn't skied very much as a kid at that point, and I was showing my parents like how I was skiing, and then I fell and broke my leg right there, like right then. I remember that feeling.
Yeah,
it was
you were trying to get their attention in that moment.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. See if you, again, just ask about what that was like for her. Tell her you really want to understand. You could also ask if that caused her to develop any beliefs about herself or her world.
Yeah, there might be something there about even trusting my parents, because here's the story is that they bought me these skis at the store and they weren't the proper kind of bindings that release when you fall. Because that's what we were with a lot of avid skiers, and they said, no, you can't use those after the fact. You can't use those kind of bindings because they don't release when you fall.
Yeah.
So that was in my head. Like, I remember hearing that story so many times. So it's like, I think even today, when I think about that now, it's like, why would they didn't know, obviously, but it's like so annoying to me because my dad my mom will buy really great quality things. My dad will buy really cheap and like be trying to save money on everything. You know, I can just picture him, doing that and getting me these dangerous skis. So there's something there maybe about trusting them.
Yeah. Yeah. What was it like for her to learn that those skis weren't appropriate?
Because it was like a really big deal. Yep, it was. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let me find out.
Yeah. Again, look for how much of a big deal it was to her emotionally, what it was like for her.
Yeah. It was like, what is going on? Like, they put me on these skis that are not even safe. Because then afterwards, there's the next season when I could ski again, there's this huge, even to this day, I have a thing about my bindings on my skis, but I had to get new skis and the bindings had to be, of course, specially, I'm sure they made sure then that I had, but I remember these Besser bindings, they were like special bindings. And oh my God, it's like, so I can just see how, like, as a kid, that was really traumatic.
Yes. Does she?
Because I broke both of the tibia and the fibula all the way through.
Does she see that you see that? You said I can see how that's traumatic. Ask her if she thinks that you get it, that you understand what it was like for her.
Yeah.
Does she feel like she can trust you?
Yeah, I'm telling her that I know all about like proper skis and everything now.
Yes. Does she feel like you understand the trauma and the pain that she experienced?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because afterwards we were up in Michigan, and I'm seeing. Yeah, I'm seeing, and she's getting it that like I had to sit in the chalet with this cast on my leg, and it was so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was in coming out of fourth grade.
And does she feel like she's still kind of stuck back there in that time?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Does she still carry those beliefs about who she can trust and those burdens of being lonely and not getting the attention she wanted?
Yeah, I'm letting her know.
You're letting her know what?
That I'm here for her, and that I'm like being attentive.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's okay. That okay. Kind of reminds me of a small version of having Lyme disease, being debilitated.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine a lot of those same feelings were coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You could offer, just as a kind of thought experiment, you could offer to kind of go back into some of those scenes,
Mm-hmm.
go back into those times when she was getting those skis, finding out about those skis, or feeling that need to show off for her parents.
Mm-hmm.
You could think about, put yourself back in that time,
mm-hmm.
and be there for her in the way that she needed someone. Check that out with her if she would like that, and just go back there and be there for her.
Okay. Yeah, it was. I can see the incident itself was really scary.
Yeah. And how you would be there for her
Mm-hmm.
during that.
Yeah.
How does she like that?
Yeah. She feels comforted.
Yeah. How about those lonely times in her room when the other kids were playing?
Yeah.
Can you go back there and be there for her in the way that she needed someone?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You could ask her if there's anybody she wants you to talk to for her or with her or help her talk to? If there's a message she wants to send to anybody.
Yeah, you can just, mostly she's saying she just wants people to know how she feels.
Yeah. And who does she want to know how she feels?
My parents.
Mm-hmm. And would she like your help in, again, back in her time, sending them that message somehow?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Okay. Yeah, she's feeling appreciative and much more, more relaxed, more calm.
Great.
More assured.
Great.
Yeah.
And is there somewhere else that she would like to go? You can invite her to kind of be with you, to spend more time with you. You can invite her to create some fantasy place that she would rather be, where she doesn't have, she has whatever she wants in her environment.
Yeah, swimming in the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so go ahead and take her there. Let her have whatever she wants there. Tell her that she doesn't have to go back to those other scenes of being alone or fighting for attention, or the pain of the incident of breaking her leg.
Mm-hmm.
How's she like it there?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, much better.
And finally, you could ask her where she carries some of those burdens, some of that pain, some of that loneliness, where she carries that in her body, the feeling of not getting enough attention.
The chest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the chest area and the heart.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and ask her how she would like to give that up. She can give it up to earth, wind, fire, water, air, however she wants to give it up.
To the air.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So go ahead and help her do that. Okay. Tell her to take all those feelings, those burdens, and give them up to the air. Do it until it's all out.
She's much better now, lighter. relaxed.
Yeah. Great.
No worries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she can meet with you and not have to feel alone. You can meet her at the beach. You can meet her anywhere.
Yeah.
You might check with some of the parts from the beginning of the conversation, the eager part, the taskmaster, the part that wants to figure this all out. You might invite them to see how this girl is doing now. And just see how they react, see if they might want to revise their roles. And if it has any meaning to them. Let them know that they don't have to protect her because she's with you now.
Yeah, they're a little more relaxed now.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. And the way to maintain this is to continue checking in with this 10-year-old.
Yeah, this lonely part.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And when that comes up, you can remind her about her place at the beach with you, or you can create new things with her.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, James.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all that and for doing the work.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Yep. And that would be my recommendation, is just to check back in with her.
Okay.
Because it does have that effect on those other parts, those other pushy parts, those protectors. That's in the theory of this paradigm. This is kind of what drives them, these exiled parts.
Yeah, and that sense that is like a definite overwhelming sense of, I can't just be that being like not doing anything or being alone or just sitting is equivalent to being lonely, which it's not necessarily. And so I can see that's just like a long sensation that I've had that's just like kind of keeps my my brain occupied and working and moving and overreacting. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Give it a try. Keep checking in with her. Let me know how it goes. And
I will.
Love to hear how it goes and keep working with you.
Thank you so much, James.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.